Welcome to the Power of Curiosity with E.T.
And Mia G.
And this is a really exciting episode because we get to talk about the impact of our marketing work. So to begin with, E.T., I want to ask you a question. Can you tell me a little bit about qualifying leads in marketing?
Yeah, that's obviously hugely important. I think some of the challenges sometimes people think about marketing is, hey, it's going to solve all their problems, right? It's going to bring in more business and they're going to make more money and all that kind of stuff, but they don't account for, maybe the challenges or the broken systems within their business, right? So even a really incredible marketer could generate traffic, but whether or not you're able to convert it, that's a completely different story, right? And then do you have the systems onboard them and integrate them and solve the customer's problem that continues to build your business, right? So I think when we go through qualification, especially here at Wake Up, it's important for us to narrow the scope. What are the results? What results really matter? What is this initiative going to accomplish in your business? And a lot of times what we found with content marketing is that, it's going to generate brand awareness, it's going to build community, it's going to inspire engagement, it's going to give you more visibility, all those things, right? It's going to show the story below the story if you do it right. So people really connect with you, whether it's an organization, you humanize your brand, you get really clear on how you can solve their problems. So when they come in the door, when they're well qualified, when they come in, they understand what problems you solve, right? They know how you're going to be able to help them, and they want to work with you because they've connected with you, they know, like, and trust you. So I think that content marketing is a really beautiful way to qualify customers, to really attract the ones that are really meant to work with you, because we've all, regardless of what business you're in, you've worked with people or brought in clients that just weren't designed, you weren't best suited to support them and really deliver and meet their expectations. So I think content marketing is a really beautiful way to attract the right people, so that when you do work with them, you hit their target, you achieve their target, and there's probably even a deeper impact. And we've seen that with some of our clients here, specifically as maybe we're doing content marketing, but it's brought in leads or it's brought in some visibility, some public awareness, but it's also impacted how they've recruited their talent. It's changed the dynamic, the intercultural beliefs within the organization, because people are getting excited about the content marketing and the stories that they're telling and how they're able to be a part of that storytelling process. So there's definitely layers of the impact, but it all goes back to qualifying your lead well, and content marketing is an absolute powerful way to do so you're attracting the right people into your business for sure. So with that, and another part of that, we talked a little bit about, okay, now there's deeper impacts of content marketing. Help me understand from your perspective, because you've been on, this role where you are absolutely a part of that sales process and making sure that that you're closing deals and working with the right clients. But you've also, outside of Wake Up Pueblo, as a creative, you've had to sell your services before, right? So help me understand how you go about selling, the creative work, or selling the invisible, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a different ballgame here, but starting as a videographer and starting as having a large network of videographers, what you realize is that people don't, especially in small cities, don't know how to value creative work. So when you think of a logo, or you think of any sort of graphic design for social media, or specifically video, what they don't understand is, at the end of the day, they're getting a 30-second to a minute asset, right? They're getting one video, and they think like, oh, it's one video, you spent this much time shooting, so like, how much can I really pay you? So then when Tyler Shaun, for example, was telling me that he would charge X amount for a commercial, and people would pretty much be like, oh, never mind, I don't want it anymore. And it's because they don't know the amount of work that goes behind the scenes to create that single 30-second video. And they just don't know, also, they don't understand the impact that you're talking about. And then especially now transitioning into Wake Up Pueblo, when we sell not just a single video, but large amounts of video, sometimes they don't always understand the value because it doesn't have a call to action, right? So like sometimes there's different variants of call to actions, but what people are most used to are like, buy my product, all right, call me now. But what you're talking about in terms of content marketing, when you're talking about lead qualification, you're talking about nurturing, right? You're trying to not only tell them what the product does, but also what the company means, what its values are, and like what it means to work with that person, right? To buy their service. Because I mean, it's also different. Like, you're not just buying something from Amazon. You're working with a business owner, and sometimes there's a more personal relationship there. Yeah. So to explain something that's not very measurable, like you can measure leads in a way, But even then, in any other traditional marketing, like billboards, you don't know if the lead came in from a billboard. Half the time, like you can measure that 50% of the time. But then now coming into something that's not even lead-based or number-based, it's about relationships and community. So like Big Dog Solar, right? We put behind-the-scenes video of a Game of Thrones shoot, and they got 15 people just like, I love what you're doing. You know, I saw you on this video, and it was just super fun to watch, and I want to know like what it means to be part of Big Dog Solar. And so these are things that are really hard to quantify. Like you can't say like 15 of our customers, you know, had this experience, because they have different experiences based on the community that they're building. And so to pretty much do what we're doing now, just to communicate that in ways that are more personal, not so much numerically based, I think that's massive.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think the other side of that too is not only, you know, when we talk about selling the invisible or this creative talent, it's not only the time it takes to create it, but it's the many years of, you know, hard skill development to be able to do that, right? So, and I think that that's sometimes the challenge that creatives, you know, face is like, hey, what's the differentiator? You're a videographer, you know, you just hold up a camera, you do this, versus somebody who can really tell a story and keep an audience who's really been trained to not pay attention to keep them paying attention and interested. That's a completely different skill set. And so I feel like not only have we been fortunate to surround ourselves with really incredible, you know, talent that can do that here, but more importantly, we're inspiring other creators in the community to be like, hey, I'm gonna up my game and I'm gonna learn this skill. How do you do that? Cool. And it is this kind of collaborative community that we really are trying to build, because whether you're a customer or a client here or not, that's not why we do this. We're doing this because, you know, we really want to elevate, you know, the Southern Colorado community. We want to inspire other creatives. We want to retain creatives to Southern Colorado, give them opportunities and pathways, because the businesses need them. Small businesses need, you know, really skilled creatives to do this work for them.
Absolutely, and again, that's just something that isn't numerically based. Like you can't measure that impact.
Right.
So then when it comes down to selling it, I don't know, what advice real quick would you have about selling something that you can't quantify?
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely data out there. You just got to really find that data and figure out how to communicate it in a way that resonates with the client, right? So this is the problem they want. They're not really visible in the digital space. Here I can help you, you know, tell that story. It may not be measured in views right now, but it's going to be measured in impact and conversations. You can use these assets as follow-up sales letters. So it's not just from posting on LinkedIn or Facebook or, you know, IG. It's about, hey, after a meeting, I can show this example of my work to further a conversation. Hey, after this experience, I can follow up and connect on a different level because I know how to use this modality to break down barriers and really form meaningful relationships, right? And again, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Like everything we're doing here is about, you know, building meaningful relationships, trust, and then scaling, right? So I think that I would definitely speak. You know, we've talked about this in a previous episode, focus on impact and how you can measure that. When I go in and meet with a client, I know that when our creative team comes through and helps them do a discovery session and understand their brand and how we walk them through our onboarding process, it's going to make them think differently about their business. It's also going to change the way they communicate about their business, inside the business and outside their business. So I understand the impact. I know how to communicate that and connect the client to that, so they get emotionally bought in and they realize, hey, and the best part about it, if they don't emotionally connect with that, then I'm not built for them. Like I'm not the one that they should be working with, right? If they need to hire somebody that's all about just give me leads, right? Just drive traffic and give me leads. Well, cool, that's more digital marketing. That's not what we do. There are plenty of really skilled, incredible people out there that can do that. We'd be happy to connect you with them, but that's not what our business is built around. Our business is built around building community through creative and consistent content marketing.
And small digital support.
With some targeted support, for
Right,
sure,
right, right,
absolutely. But at the end of the day, we know how to sell, you know, the results and the impact, and it's around identifying that and connecting the client to that, for sure. Yeah, so let's leave them with the challenge real quick, as we do every week. I think that, you know, one of the things you've been so really great, you've done a beautiful job, not only for us, but for all our clients, is tying us to content pillars, right? Every one of our clients, we identify what those content pillars are, and our whole idea is trying to drive people back to consume those pillars, right? Might be a PDF handout, might be a training video, it might be, you know, a white paper, whatever that looks like, but those were our pillars and we're driving people back to them. and most of our clients, when we sit down and have those conversations, some clients have that information and some clients do not. So I think that a good challenge, I don't know, hit them with a good challenge as it relates to that.
Right. So content pillars are basically everything that you create or put out there into the world is based on 3 or 4 main pieces, like main themes. And when we talk about qualification, lead qualification, making sure that people coming to your doorstep or trying to buy your service are right for you, there's a couple things in the sales process, right? You think of overcoming objections. You think of telling them about like your why, your values as a company, all your differentiators. And so think a little bit about like 3 or 4 main things that you can start telling people about that you don't have time in a 30-second commercial, right? In a 30-second, you don't have time to give them all this information, so try to break up into 4 pieces. And then if you can, comment that below. We'd love to see what those are.
Yeah, for sure. And as you know, that's Mia G.
And that's you too.
And this was The Power of Curiosity. Be good to each other, but also be good to yourself.